Okay.
डर के जो हंसी निकलती है वो एवरीबॉडी इज स्केर्ड
You want to look for large fences like this? Thank you.
मैं किधर जा रही हूँ
ऐसे बात ये
get to know that which color stone name is what. Amanula wala bundure.
Can you imagine if you were to win the water?
In theory, brush against them. Please don't touch anything you see in the cave today. Even oil on our skin keeps our skin nice and soft. Gets on our glasses and our phone and mirrors and stuff. Really easy to glass. Not easy. So starting over here, and if you follow the gaze of our bird of prey to the stalactite, pointing down to the stalagmite, you might see an old fisherman with a rainbow fish sticks guy. Pretty extreme to me. I'm a birder, not a caver. That seems like a pretty good way to ensure Americans get off to a rapid start. Or since I'm already in Northern Lights, we're always lucky enough to see nice moonlight.
Let's go in the back.
It's a rainbow.
I'm telling you all this because we're obviously about to go out there. We're going to do a little lap on Lake Nittany, maybe see some animals.
You're getting lost right now.
So, yeah, this is where Python's Creek used to re-emerge. We just kind of move the head over to where our dam is now. Alright, McKenna, sorry.
Look.
Birds in general exhibit a high level of sexual Rocky Mountain elk. You can see our big guy shaking his antlers between the pine trees over there. Rocky Mountain elk, I don't have the wildlife script, so I don't have a whole bunch to say about the animals. I do know that Rocky Mountain elk, the Highlander, you're right on that's actually right there. There's a rock that we affectionately named. These got chosen to be the target is your eyes. These are the skull. Takes down your head on the skull. Ah! Shoot! Part of the natural ceiling, like I said, any regrowing white tips you see on this line is stalactites.
Now we can do from the keys.
Yep.
I think we did it. I think we survived. So as we are going back, we're going to turn off the harsh LED light of the runner.
That would one fall like thousands of years ago.
I think coming like when we turn around, so I think the egg.
And on the ceiling above them, a pair of ducks. That looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Leaning Tower. That's where the hippopotamus was swung up. And I
me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me anymore. Everybody's saying finally we survived. Everybody laughing. This people are coming in with the cars.
Do you have online tickets? No. So the tickets are right there. Ticket sales. Late in the day.
Whenever, if you want to do like any shopping and get souvenirs, I would do that before. Be the ticket, and then this is.
Thank you.
So when you hear the announcement, go out the door. This is exit from
here.
Follow the path down the hill.
आप पूछो. मैं पूछ नहीं कर रहा हूँ. हम भी ये पूछती कहाँ से?
Wait, that means they.
Arrowheads, all the yellow. This guy has a little bit of everything in it. It has arrowheads, fossils, a larger specimen, and then it also has gemstones.
Okay.
This one's just fossils. And then this guy over here is emeralds.
Oh, the ones that are in not everything. So a lot of the stuff. Sorry.
I think ऐसे ही activity में है.
You want to try to find yours? You want to look for large Penn stones like this?
Thank you so much.
That one? Okay.
Hi.
yourself if you want any bookmarks. And I'll have your receipt. And and they want you just to initial or sign. Wherever you wish to go, you don't have
fun. I think back to जाएंगे front.
back to
उसने कहा there is one in the back and one in the front. Wherever you can go. ये हमने फ्रंट पे आना है वो आगे ठहर जरा Wait. हमारा बैग ये नहीं बन रहा क्या Whatever you get, put that in here. हाँ, ये देखो इधर आ, ये मेरा है, हाँ ये मेरा है. I have that one in my home. Because it's bag. Bigger bag. It's like food packet. They pack. We get garbage.
ऐसे बात ये
This is how we can get to know what which stone is, which color stone name is what. I have heard about the जिसका भी आ जाए वो उसका. You know, we missed the safari. We missed the safari. Bison or bison? I think they must be around here near the fence. Okay. ये देखो.
If you're holding tickets for this tour, please proceed out the double doors marked Exit to Wildlife, and they'll meet your guide right out back. Once again, this is the announcement for the 3:30 Farm Nature and Wildlife Tour. Thank you.
They're giving us oh yeah. So hard to walk down there. Huh? Wow. Look at this palak lagi hai. है ना? It's like palak. Wow, I like this. It looks so good. See, please use. We need to hold this one. Wait. Wait. Wait here.
Take a break if you need.
Whatever happens, it's इसको पकड़ी इसको
Manny. The heart.
यहाँ तक है। It's getting cold. Yeah, it's getting cold. Everybody's talking about the cold. Yeah. Because of the water, it's cold down there. It's cold. A Manula wala bundure. It's the cave adventure.
Okay, just put it in your.
Pass this down if you're worried about water on the bench. There you go. Come on.
Wipe that off.
Can you imagine if you would have went in the water?
We need more people on that side. We're leading.
Can you count? I lost count after that.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention.
No.
No, I'm holding it from my side.
Sides, now that we're balanced out. It rocks the boat. People don't like that. We get really close to the cavern walls today. Close enough to, in theory, brush against them. Please don't touch anything you see in the cave today. We have an oil on our skin, keeps our skin nice and soft. Gets on our glasses and our phone and mirrors and stuff. Really easy to steal glass. Not easy to steal the rocks. It still matters because the rocks don't feel it. And they will stop growing in the future because they've been growing for thousands of years via water treatment. Water and oil do not mix. So please do not touch anything you see in the cave. It can also inadvertently spread disease or wildfire. There are also handful of times where I remind you to keep everything in, to press against the rocks so it was a finger. Keep that in mind. All right.
Look at it. Brand new. Brand new. That's the newest one. Right there. That one. That's the brand new. They just got it.
Three main things you gotta leave here with, not literally though, because that's a felony. One, we got stalactites. They're the ones that hang tight to the ceiling and hang down. Stalagmites are the ones that come up from the ground and might reach the ceiling one day. And columns are what happens when they grow together. Correct? And why they are called that? Because that's what you call them, of course. Ha! Ha! Ah! Lots of bad jokes, lots of, So imagination formation, starting off easy over to the left. If you use your imagination, you should be able to see. Head of
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can see it. I can see it. Can you see it?
There's a dragon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And just past our dragon will be our tallest stalagmite, the one that comes up out of the ground, and it is our Statue of Liberty. Now, that's the classic name for it, the historical name. We've been calling it that since 1885. However, nowadays, what I was saying, let's call it a chicken sitting on a post. And this is the first part of the first room of the cave.
It looks like a
We don't have, what's it called? We don't have walkie-talkies in here. Now, boats don't have brakes, so I'm gonna stop right in this direction to make a splashing noise that sounds like this. And fish are attacking the boat. So this is the first part of the first room of the cave. This is the cathedral room known for its high ceiling. It's also 85 feet from the surface of the water to the ceiling. Now, most people wouldn't know how deep the water is, but unfortunately today it is too murky because it's raining. Well, the water's only 3 feet deep. You can see the bottom if you try hard enough. Probably touch it. So if you were to fall in, just stand. The deep there, but hard to pass that. Let's get 1 or 2 boat lengths in. 3 feet deep the whole way. The only reason it's really deep over there is because that's where the spring is coming in, pushing all the sediment away. Now, all the way to the ceiling. Kind of. That's because the cave, originally the cave started as a little hole into the limestone, the gray rock that makes up this cave. behavior. Limestone has a special quality about it where it likes to be eaten away by water over long periods of time. So over the process of 2 to 5 million years, water that got in that little hole, that meant that it became this big and it didn't have water all the way up to it. But then the water table lowered to where it is today, and the formations started to fill in. Formations in this game are primarily made out of calcium. That's all the white you see. We use it to make antacids like Toms and whiteboard chalk. It's also the same predominant element in hard water buildup. So if you have you might see in the cave, or some brown or the cave in some spots, and then there's some green around our artificial lighting, and that's just moss that grows around our artificial lights. And it's one of the reasons why we keep the lights off. In between layers of limestone, and right before it drips on you or on the surface or the water grows. It takes a really long time for formations to grow, though. It takes approximately 100 to 500 years for formations to grow just 1 inch. Which that's a big range because everything grows at different rates. For example, I specifically mentioned hard water buildup because you know if it
There's a shield formation up here that looks like a pair of dumplings. We don't need anglings.
remember, so the general rule of thumb for how much stuff grows in for it to grow. In a second here, we're going to head over to this next area we call the Garden of the Gods. We call this the Garden of the Gods because it looks like a little town on a mountainside. And if you've ever been out west, you may be familiar with national parks with the same name. Over on the right side of the boat, this is your first of many reminders to keep your hands off the side of the boat and resist the urge to touch the wet rock. Does anyone have any questions about the cave trip? Like I said, it's an exceptionally busy day today. We've been running 5 boats all day. It's not long.
Wow, green coral.
As we go to the Garden of the Gods, I like to use my flashlight as kind of a laser pointer. Point out stuff here. So I'm going to break right around here and start pointing out stuff here. So starting over here, and if you follow the gaze of our bird of prey to the stalactite, pointing down to the stalagmite, you might see an old fisherman with a rainbow fish sticks guy. And continue with our right to left motif. I sure hope you can see this hollow. And this ledge, and in between the two of them, depending on where you are on the boat, you may be able to see a little boy chasing a cow over a bridge. Although that looks pretty hard to see almost everywhere, so you may indeed just see a hollow in front of a ledge. With a rock in between them. Maybe some rocks on top.
A block on the wall.
Now, I'm pretty bad at imagination. I'm going to go back to science. And I'm going to shine my light on this. And then you take it to the merchant trader who knew marginally more than they did. And the merchant trader would say, "You're a fool. It's completely worthless. Get out of here. Go home and cry about it. I don't want this." They chuck it in the trash. Today, though, we know a lot more about a lot of things, notably chemistry. Because of our knowledge of chemistry, we know that iron pyrite is actually really high in sulfur. That's the second main element in it. So using that knowledge and our knowledge of chemistry these days, we can actually use iron pyrite to synthesize things like battery acid and metals. Here, Center, $4.99 show. It's all value subjective. Now, we're going to have another boat passing us in a minute here. Your patience is appreciated during passing zone time. We are going to be going in. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
Don't worry if you can't see him, we're going to get closer anyway.
Can you hold my
You
hand?
may get the impression that the rocks in that room fell off the ceiling onto the floor. And that is indeed what happened. But it didn't happen yesterday.
Watch your hands.
Like you said, your patience during passing periods is appreciated. So those rocks fell off the ceiling for a very specific reason. Because water got in between the layers of the limestone. And it froze. And when water freezes, it expands. And that expansion had enough pressure to push all those big rocks out of the ceiling onto the floor. And it's a common phenomenon. It's so common you call it a breakdown pile. One, people always ask, do these things fall? Nothing has fallen for thousands of years, and nothing will. As hard as a rock, one might even say. And I don't say that to be a smart one. I say like they're literally rocks that have been growing for thousands of years. They're not like ice of the land above you is what the temperature is going to be underground. So in this area of PA, we have highs of about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, lows of about 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Quick back, the Kansas is 52 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's nice and warm in the winter, nothing freezes, nothing falls, and it's also cool in the summer like today. And that is a global phenomenon. We utilize that for things like geothermal air conditioning and root cellars. So if you were to go to a cave in, say, Texas, it would likely be a lot hotter than this one, simply because Texas is a lot hotter. Now we're going to go in that area where all those other places are. I'm going to swing around wide and go from here. If you guys are on the right side of the boat, you guys are going to have to keep turns ducking as to not crack your heads open on the drop. It's also a good time to keep your hands off the side of the boat.
Carefully. Miss me.
And now, as soon as we get through here, I'm immediately going to have to make an evasive maneuver, basically to establish another passing zone. Like I said, your patience is appreciated while I do this. This is the second room of the game, the largest room. We call this room the dry room. We call it that for an ironic reason, because usually you enter the roof over here. We're going to park somewhere else if we don't. We call this room the dry room. Not as much water dripping to get through over here, so there aren't as many formations in this room. There aren't as many formations, but we still have some. Point them out. Lit up, obviously, such as the middle area of our Nittany Lion. Named because we are 30 miles from Penn State, and if we called them anything else, they would come and sue us. And just past that, we have our Buddha. Now that is the historic name of that formation, although nowadays a lot of us think it looks more like Jabba the Hutt with his red tail.
Gotcha.
And there is maybe all.
Children usually say it looks like a gorilla, I don't know.
I see gorilla.
Maybe there's not another boat there, who knows. Anyway, so, sorry about that. So, the 150 feet behind the line is the first natural entrance to the cave. It was discovered in 1795 by the Europeans. It was discovered by a man, a preacher named James. In 1795, before we had flashlights. Well, Mr. James Barnes decided to crawl inside the hole. He came on down here, explored this room with a torch, realized he found something pretty neat, and went to go tell his friends. And when he went to go tell his friends, he realized he was not the first person in the cave. Because when he went to leave, he discovered remnants of a campfire, jewelry, tools, arrowheads, evidence that the local native people of Seneca had been on before him. Which makes sense for a couple of reasons. One, Mr. James Barnes was a European and the Seneca were here first. Two, around, maybe even with a campfire that is a normal temperature. Over here somewhere. In the parking lot, just over here somewhere. There's a grassy sinkhole, and if we were to walk on down that, you'd see a clump of trees with a chain link fence going around it, and an electrical wire going down into it, and that's the first natural entrance to the cave. Now we keep the lights on in this room. In front of us, there's these long, hollow sections to it. And hence the name, someone figured out that if you started to hit the chimes with these sticks we have on board that we now use for pushing off walls, the chimes would actually ring like a bell, like I said, hence the name. And you can actually play different notes, play different music, only rock music, of course. We stopped hitting the chimes, unfortunately, because they began to break away in the lower right-hand corner in the 70s and 80s. Instead, what I'm going to do is swing around wide, shine the light up the side of the chimes so you can see how they're hollow. If you guys don't get a good look at them, don't fret. There's more right around the corner that will be above us. But they also kind of look like a bigger version of this, like morel mushrooms, wasp nests, grains, coral, something like that.
Coffee done now.
Watch out.
So the chimes are a type of formation known as a flow stone. Flow stones occur when water goes over the face or edge of a rock. In this case, above us, we have those flow stones going over the edge of a rock wave, curtain, or drapery formation. You might hear my anchor chains that are going over some rocks making a really scary noise. The rocks move off, but instead we got stuck on some rocks. That's why.
Get that feeling? Like, I don't think we're supposed to run over that rock right there.
There's nothing to be scared of in here, but it does make a jarring noise and sometimes that happens. The only thing to be worried about around though is this crocodile. Though I've never seen it move. So I think we're going to be all...
See, there's the croc, guys. That's the crocodile.
The crocodile.
Whirlpool formations and carve-out holes like this one right here. Once you get next to this one, you'll notice it is shaped like a heart. So we call this a heart lens cave. Now the heart is important to the Lent couples. We get about 4 or 5 proposals a year. Underneath the heart, couples will come down here. Ask the tour guides people over to propose on the heart or in the heart on the boat. So the extra dedicated couples have come down here and perform their marriage ceremony on a boat as well. Seems pretty extreme to be on a bird or not a cave, but it seems like a pretty good way to ensure your marriage gets off to a rapid start. Or since it already admitted I don't know what I'm talking about regarding caves, maybe we'll have a solid foundation, who knows? Some of us call this one right here the Pennsylvania pothole because of our freezing and thawing cycles. I'd say it's not big enough, honestly. Now right here is the closest we're going to get to the natural center of the cave. There's about 100 feet of rock above us right here, and above that is the bison enclosure that's part of our wildlife and nature tour. We always like to tell people where we are during the tour so they know when to stop trying to catch the water droplets in their mouth. Also so they can orient themselves. However, you may notice that a lot of these stalactites are either broken off or have new regrowing white tips on them. That regrowing is about 100 years of calcite growth. And that is because sticks and debris used to float through here and the cave used to flood and break formations off at low points like this. We came up with a solution to the flooding problem about 100 years ago, hence me saying there's 100 years of growth back there. But I'll talk about that solution more in this final. Near the broken part is the stalactites, you may notice these are chunks sticking out of the wall conspicuously. This is magnesium, and it is a mineral that is flammable. And I pointed out because it's rumored that back when you shoot tours via torchlight, tour guides would break chunks of this off to reignite their torches with. I say rumored because we do not have historical evidence of that, unfortunately. However, we do have historical evidence in the form of newspaper clippings and old pamphlets that tour guides would indeed use torches, patrons, hold little candles, and push our way through your sticks and gondola style. We also know from those, newspaper clippings and pamphlets and stuff that we used to throw the torches into cavities alongside the wall to illuminate the cave for patrons. So we have some of those cavities on display, like right here. So right here we cleaned up the top, however, all this black stuff you see right here is all ash and soot from over 140 years ago, where we used to throw torches to illuminate the cave. Now, if you look there, it kind of looks like something was grown there a little bit, and you'd be correct to assume that. However, just like the oils in our hand, the ash and soot unfortunately prevents the rock crystals from adhering to each other, so any growth that would have happened there is unfortunately now permanently removed. Now, next to that, we have a good visual on how formation properly grow. Here, right next to that, you can see how the water comes down in between the layers to create formations. Now, some areas seemingly have no formations and others have a bunch. Because there's nowhere for the water to come down, nothing can grow. So we're going to park right about here. It's okay. It's okay. They look very scary. That's why I'm like, okay, just get it off. It's a bit tricky. There was a giant cave cricket on here.
Oh, really?
I was like, I got this. We're going to stop right here while we wait for the other boats to advance. Does anyone have any questions or anything?
Poisonous.
Sorry, I didn't even
It's like a...
They make so...
I don't think it kills you, but I think it really damages your cells.
The trout swim all the way through the cave, so we have trout in here. Other than that, that swims in here from the outside. The only things that really live in here, unfortunately, are just bats and like insects, like the camera. We get a lot of, we usually talk about bats right here, but stuff behind another boat. So we don't have any bats in the cave right now because it is summer. They go in here to hibernate. It's at nice 52 degrees year round. And then they leave. And I like to tell people that beforehand because if I don't, it kind of seems like they think fish are attacking the boat. So this is the first part of the first room of the cave. This is the temple or cathedral room known for its high ceiling. It's approximately 55 feet from the surface of the water to the ceiling. Now most people want to know how deep the water is. A lot of times I have to show people. But unfortunately today it is too murky to just rain. But the water's only 3 feet deep. You can see the bottom if you're trying to look. Just stand there. The deepest part of the entire cave is actually the dock. It's 15 feet deep there, but we already passed it. Let's get 1 or 2 boat lengths in. 3 feet deep the whole way. The only reason it's really deep over there is because that's where the spring is coming in, pushing all the sediment away. Now, originally the water was not only 3 feet deep. Originally the water was all the way to the ceiling. Kind of. That's because the cave, originally the cave started to a hole in some limestone, gray rock that makes up this cave. Limestone has a special quality about it where it likes to be eaten away by water over long periods of time. So over the process of 2 to 5 million years, water that got in that little hole ate away all the tunnels and rooms and holes we see in it today. That meant that they became this big and it didn't have water all the way up to it. But then the water trickled over to where it is today, and the formations started to fill it. Formations in this cave are primarily made out of calcium. That's all the white you see. We use that to make antacids like Tums and whitewood chalk. It's also the same predominant element in hard water buildup. So if you have hard water buildup at home, that white patch that goes over the faucets and stuff, same stuff. Some other colors you might see in the cave are some brown and orange smudging. This is iron oxide or rust with the coloration of the cave in some spots. And then there's some green around our artificial lighting, and that's just moss that grows. So when we rain, everything grows great. It grows in, specifically there's some hard water buildup, because you know if you have that, how fast.
There's a shield formation up here that looks like a pair of doublings. Call these doublings.
Rule of thumb for how much stuff grows in here is everything in here grows roughly the thickness of a single sheet of paper per year. So regardless of what it is, it takes limestone and calcite version. We're going to be passing by this mark on the right, so if you're on the right side of the boat, this is your first opinion. Does anyone have any questions? Now, like I said, we're going to have a lot of those passes really started off with these travel. Like I said, it's an exceptionally busy area. We're trying to find boats all day. It's not long.
Well, I'll bring.
Point out stuff up here. So I'm going to break right about here and start pointing out some So starting over here on the right, this tall stalagmite sticking about the corner, we say looks like an eagle or an owl. Puffing its chest out and looking over to the left. And if you follow the gaze of our bird of prey to the stalactite, pointing down to the stalagmite, you might see an old fisherman with a rain jacket and a big heavy hook pulled up over his head, and a big beard and a basket of trout. Kind of like that Gordon's Fish Sticks guy. And continuing with our right to left motif, I sure hope you can see this hollow and this ledge, and in between the two of them, depending on where you are on the boat, you may be able to see a little boy taking a cow over a bridge. Well, that one's pretty hard to see almost everywhere, so you may indeed just see a column in front of a ledge. With a rock in between them. Maybe some rocks on top. Now, I'm pretty bad at imagination formation myself, unfortunately, so I'm biased. I'm going to go back to science. There's a golden glittering material in there. There's iron pyrite. That is a common name some people know, but first say it if you know it.
Fool's gold.
Fool's gold, correct, thank you. It's called fool's gold for a reason I'm sure many of you can guess, but I'll tell you in case you can't. It's called fool's gold because back during the gold rush when no one knew anything about anything, miners would find that and they get really excited. Because they thought it was real gold. Because it looks like that. And they take it to the merchant trader who knew marginally more than they did. And the merchant trader would say, you're a fool, it's geothermal air conditioning, and root cells. So if you were to go to a cave in, say, Texas, it would likely be a lot hotter than this one, simply because Texas is a lot hotter. Now, we're going to, in that area where all those other I'm going to around lining over here. If you guys are on the right side of the belt, you guys are going to have to take turns ducking. That's when that cracker heads open on this rock. It's also a good time to keep your hands off the side of the boat.
Holy cow, look at that.
Alright, they're gonna let me go. So we're gonna go over here. Make sure you guys don't smoke in here. That will give you an idea of what's gonna happen if your fingers were there instead of the edge of the boat.
Careful, careful.
Careful. Bismillah.
Now, as soon as we get through here, I'm immediately we call this one the dry room. It's back. There aren't as many formations, but we still have some. We point them out. Buddha. Now that is the historic name of that formation. Although nowadays a lot of us think it's
And there is maybe all.
neat. And when you go tell us friends, and when you go tell us ring like a bell, that's the name. And you can actually play different, only rock music, of course. We stopped hitting the trends, unfortunately, because they began to break away in the lower right-hand corner in the 70s and 80s. Instead, what I'm going to do is swing around wide, trying to play a couple sonic chimes so you can see how they follow. If you guys don't have a good look at them, don't fret. There's more rare lost nests, grains, coral, something like that.
Watch out.
Going over the edge of a rock created what is known as a cave curtain or drapery formation. I was going to say, in a second you might hear my ankle chain start going over some rocks and making a really scary noise. There's rocks in the water, but it's so back on the wall is all the way to the ceiling. Whirlpool formation can carve out holes like this one right here. Once you get up next to this one, you'll notice it's shaped like a heart. So we call this the heart ends cave. Now the heart is important to a lot of couples. We get about 4 or 5 proposals a year underneath the heart. Couples will come down here. Ask the tour guides to pull over or to propose on the heart or in the heart on the boat. Some extra dedicated couples have come down here and performed their marriage ceremony on a boat as well. It seems pretty extreme to me. I'm a birder, not a caver. It seems like a pretty good way to ensure a marriage gets off to a rocky start. Or since I've already admitted I don't know what I'm talking about regarding caves, maybe it'll have a solid foundation. Who knows? That regrowing is about 100 years of calcite growth. And that is because 6 degrees of has 100 years of growth back there. But I'll talk about that solution more in this final. I say rumor because we do not have historical evidence of that, unfortunately. However, we do have historical evidence in the form of newspaper clippings and local pamphlets that tour guides would indeed use torches and pictures and local candles. We get a lot of people that usually talk about bats right here when we start building another boat. So we don't have any bats in the cave right now because it is summer. They come in here to hibernate. It's a nice 52 degrees. It not only kills the mother bat, but also the unborn baby.
And the snake.
So we inadvertently carry this fungal disease like on our skin and stuff due to the paint spread from it, unfortunately. That's why, for example, our partner cave, Woodward Cave, down the road, actually is closed the majority of the year because they are a walking cave, and they have one of the largest hibernating populations of bats left on the East Coast. They have about 4,000 bats that hibernate in there during the winter, and since we carry the spore accidentally on our skin and our hair and on our shoes and stuff, they're closed the majority of the year to prevent their bats from getting white nose syndrome and passing somehow. Bats have a bad rap against them. People, like, there's a bunch of old wives during the summer, get stuck in your hair and stuff. What's actually happening if you have a bad dye bombing you in the summer is they're actually attacking the mosquitoes that are attracting the CO2 in your breath. And then hanging out all our waterways. Now our Loch Ness monster. Long tail, big fat body, big little leggy, and pleasing sword. Or mammoth, or bumbo, or dumbo, and ear and trunk. Whatever you see. But I don't know if the giant turtle wants to move to the point. The American side of Niagara Falls. And then hanging out all our water formations.
Winter time.
Now our Loch Ness monster. Long tail, big fat body, a big little leggy, and plesiosaur. A flying Chinese dragon. I even heard armadillo. Or mammoth, or dumbo with an ear and trunk. Whatever you see. Just chasing this giant turtle we land over here. But I don't know if the giant turtle wants to move this way. Because over here on the right we have our shark. And right next to our shark's fin we have our sharks and teeth. Named for that bloody look they have given to them by that iron oxide or rust dripping over them. Iron is a main component of our blood. And as we approach the third room of the cave, this is the room with the most columns in it. We are welcomed warmly by a family of garden gnomes on the left. And like I said, this is the third room of the cave. This is the room with the most columns in it. Over on the right, we have our double or triple or quadruple columns, depending on what angle you see them at. Top right behind you. 8.5 feet tall, and it doesn't have a fancy name or anything. All the tour guides between 1880 and 1920s were signing their names and leaving notes on the back of that. We don't do that anymore because it's belonging to the cave. They just didn't know any better back then. But some of our cave guides who are allowed to get off the boats to do things like spread moss and change light bulbs actually hopped out up there and recently actually took the first photos of the writings and signatures on the back of that column. So that's super cool. We finally have a picture on screen. And in the middle here we have an example of how the lava takes from formations to grow. Here you can see it looks like the stalactite and the stalagmite are about to merge. There's about 6-inch gap between the two of them. However, you look at it takes about 7,000 years in advance. Those two formations join in western Pacific.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
You see it there, Greg?
Guys, they're calling it the western sunset.
And even if you're not lucky enough to see the sunset, you're almost always lucky enough to see northern lights. And even if you're not lucky enough to see the northern lights, you're almost always lucky enough to see nice moonlight.
Let's go in the back.
Even if you're not lucky enough to see the sunset, you're almost always lucky enough to see northern lights. And even if you're not lucky enough to see the northern lights, you're almost always lucky enough to see nice moonlight.
Let's go in the back.
And then I also turned the red eye on my teeth.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's like Disney.
Let's go. Oh, please. I'm going.
डर के जो हंसी निकलती है वो everybody is scared.
I'm telling you all this because we're obviously about to go out there. We're going to do a little lap on Lake Nittany, maybe see some animals. So they dug this tunnel using hand tools and small explosives between 1925 and 1927. They sprayed the outside of it or the inside of it with a man-made material called gunite to help keep it, all the way to shipping. There might be some bumping and brushing because I'm driving a rectangular boat through an S-shaped tunnel, so please keep everything off the side of the boat. Hands come out this way. So this is where Penn's Creek used to re-emerge. All the water had to, one of the reasons why it took so long, the water had to leave from that room and travel out about 70 feet to right here. These layers of rock right here, the water's not super clear. But you can see some layers, much like, I guess the sump pumps that are in our basements. So, yeah, this is where Penn's Creek used to re-emerge. We just kind of up and moved the head over to where our dam is now. Bye, McKenna, sorry.
Are they entering the cave?
Well, up here on the left is our Rocky Mountain elk and whitetail deer enclosure. You can drive through that on a bus during the wildlife and nature tour. We're going to see if we can see any animals. I am Penn's Cave's ornithologist, so I am contractually obligated to talk about the birds if we don't see any animals. That's like half a joke. Alright, we'll start off with mallards. So that's a female mallard. Mallards are a ubiquitous duck species we see everywhere from ponds to puddles to lakes to towns, etc. The males are the ones with that bright green head that we know and love. The females and the juveniles with that dudley color. Birds in general exhibit a high level of sexual dimorphism, which is the fancy word for boys looking different than girls. There's a lot of reasons as to why this occurs. However, one leading theory for mallards and some species is that the male mallards do not share incubation duties with the female, so the males have a little bit more liberty to look a little bit more presentable. So so that they,
You see his horns? He's doing something with his horns.
because they don't have to worry about getting eaten while sitting on the eggs, like the females do. Out there, you can see some of our Rocky Mountain elk. You can see our big guy shaking his antlers between the pine trees over there. Rocky Mountain elk, I don't have the wildlife script, so I don't have a whole bunch to say about the animals. I do know that Rocky Mountain elk are big, and they weigh a lot. So their antlers weigh something like 30 pounds on each side, and they have a special ligament in their neck to hold those antlers up. I also know that we accidentally hunted all of the original eastern elk to extinction, so all the elk we have here on the East Coast are actually just a subspecies of the original elk we had that we brought in from the West. These birds right here with the yellow tails, they're flying around catching insects. Those are cedar waxwings. They're a native Pennsylvania bird that we get here. They come in the winter. Oh, it should be. There might be some bumping and brushing because I'm driving a rectangular boat through a S-shaped tunnel, so please keep everything off the side of the boat. Yes, going out this way. So this is where Penn's Creek used to reemerge. All the water had to, one of the reasons why it took so long for the water to go back down after it rained, is all the water had to leave from that room and travel out about 70 feet to right here. These layers of rock right here, the water's not super clear. Much like just the salt pumps that are in our basements now that I'm like an adult and have a house. Apartment, I guess. So, dam is now. Sorry. I am Penn's Caves ornithologist, so I am contractually obligated. That's like half a joke. Species we see everywhere, from ponds to puddles to lakes to towns, etc. The males are the ones with that bright green head that we know and love. The females are different than girls. There's a lot of reasons as to why this occurs, however, one lead. So the males have a little bit more liberty to look a little bit more presentable, so that they
You see his horns? He's doing something with his horns.
because they don't have to worry about getting eaten while sitting on the eggs, like the females do. Out there, you can see some of our Rocky Mountain elk. You can see our big guy shaking his antlers to extinction. So all the elk we have here on the East Coast. Name Waxwing from we put the dam in. People came from all over originally just to see the lights we had in the cave. Lights. However, we were the first people in Penn's Valley with lights or electricity for about 7 years before everyone else. Birds that are flying around really quick that aren't the cedar waxwings over the lake and stuff. Swallows and tree swallows. Swallows are an incredible species to breed here and have babies before they go back. We used to design fighter jets after them before we figured out that the Peregrine Falcon is a better model for aerodynamic.
That's what I'm thinking. अगर ये मेरी recommendation है तो
You know what the fastest animal in the animal species is? The animal kingdom?
There were also some Canada geese over there. Canada geese are pretty neat.
230 miles
They
an
are
hour.
considered a pest, which I understand why. They poop everywhere and they're very, very aggressive and parents, because they're usually pretty sweet outside of the breeding season. But they will fight off eagles. I've seen videos and in person red-tailed hawks being fought off by Canada geese to protect either their partner or members of their flock or goslings. They're incredibly devoted, incredibly protective, and sometimes during the spring or the early summer, you'll see like a couple of adult geese with like 10 million goslings following them behind them. You're right, and that's actually where there's those geese got chosen to be the targetest prize species in school. Take story, you're getting shoot! Okay, I can go in or what?
I think they are telling each boat attendant to stop there. There is another boat because in this place 2 boats can enter or exit at a time. So there is another boat. There was another boat coming, so this boat attendant yelled and asked that boat attendant to stop. So yeah.
Over here on the right, we have the cave canopies. These are formations that originally grew on top of a mud bank or sandbar until they got washed away. And it left these formations hanging here. They
So we are going back from the same route of the cave, the same the exit route and entrance route of this cave is the same. Everybody's here. Kids are just like they don't like.
Like that's cool because if you were to come down here with a black light or a and the lines around it, meaning that these white streets shine bright green under a black light, much like a lighthouse. And as we go back up into this lowest part of the natural ceiling, like I said, any regrowing white tips you see on this line of stalactites is your approximate 100 years of growth from the cave. So I'm looking at these guys. And if you want to talk about ages of things, that big tan stalactite archway ahead of us is what's called a chandelier, and it's approximately 35,000 years old according to isotopic testing. Now it's hard to determine what the oldest thing in the cave is because our parts will be over the left. It's hard to determine what the oldest thing in the cave is because everything grows at different rates. For example, this one grows very slowly because it's high in iron. Here's our part again. Put my runner on it. Here, and then I'm going to shine my light on the left so that you guys can duck. I'm going to have to bump a little bit. So just keep everything in. Duck, duck. Up on my side in a second. Duck, duck.
Now we can do from the kids.
Yep.
I think we did it. I think we survived. So as we are going back through, I turn off the harsh LED light of my runner and not wash out the nice for our second and final.
What is doing?
Yes. Yeah, I know.
So it wasn't fall like that. So it wouldn't fall like thousands of years ago. So that it can take
I think coming back from, I think coming like when we turned around, so I think the exit route is so quick.
And on the ceiling above them, a pair of dove wings. Angel wings, dove wings. And from this angle, our Statue of Liberty, that looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Leaning Tower. A couple more imagination formations as we approach the dock. On the left here, we have a couple of stalactites that kind of looks like a crocodile doing a swan dive. These followed by us from the hippopotamus doing a swan dive. And I also think kind of looks like a big gargoyle actually on the ceiling. crappy. And as we approach the dock, the last imagination formation for today is an elephant stepping out of the ceiling into our boat. We have his front leg on the right there, big floppy hair up top, and his runny nose in the middle. Looks like a nice trip on you. Thank you guys for your time today. Now is the time to make sure you have everything you came in with. Gold, wallet, keys, souvenirs, purses, children, houses, sanity. Any children left behind will be fed to the mountain lion. Any sanity left behind will be consumed by me. Once I get in front of my boat and the two coasts up there, I am going to aggressively and abruptly throw my boat into the water. As do not smack the dock, please remain seated. I will walk up front myself to disembark you guys.
Thank you.
Well, that was supposed to not happen, but I think we're sorry. Sorry, guys. Made it. That was all about. Okay.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. There was another world. It was so scary. Everybody is in angry mode. Everybody's saying finally we survived. Everybody laughing out of scare. So no. Oi. Thanks, we survived. Everybody was scared that, oh, will we survive or not? Finally, everybody did it. Listen, wait for me. For me. इधर आओ यहाँ. There are so many others.
It's a real fancy stroller. Look at that. Have a great day.
जानवरों वालों में ये वो एडवेंचर तो नहीं है. आई थिंक इससे सिर्फ let's see, try our luck. I think safari bus. Oh my god.
Oh, get in here.